All right, I'm gonna get started here. It's gonna be about half an hour. Um, so I just kind of want to describe um, kind of my career. I've been in real estate 13 years now. Um, Now owner of Metro City Property Group. Last year we did 567 transactions within the team. So started from, just as a single agent, slowly built a team up, got bigger over the years. But the interesting thing is, I started my career and I built like I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for sale by owners. So the first 2 or 3 years of my real estate career, all I did was for sale by owners. I didn't do anything else. I did some expireds. I didn't do past clients. I didn't do regular cold calls. I wasn't calling just listeds, just sold. I wasn't calling internet leads. That was barely around at the time. We're talking, 2013. Um, sorry, 2000, yeah, 2013 was when I first got licensed. So that's when I first started making cold calls to for sale by owners, and not much has changed. The one thing that's changed a little bit since then is it's a little bit harder to find the number of the for sale by owner. So all the numbers used to be posted on the listing and you were able to call all of them. Now it's a little bit more difficult. Sometimes, they're with an agent from the for sale by owner brokerage. So it's a little bit harder to get through. However, there's always signs, you drive by, people are there, there's Canadian Tire signs, people are trying to sell their property on their own. You got Kijiji, you got Facebook Marketplace, you're always seeing for sale by owners there. You got Grapevine, you got there's a lot of different brokerages that specialize in for sale by owners. Some you can call, some you can't, but that's fine. I'm not going to show you how to find them. Okay, that's your job. Um, if there's a will, there's a way, you'll find them. You just got to go hunting for them, right? My job is to tell you how to talk to them and how to get an appointment once you get their number, right? When I first got my admin in year 2 or 3 of real estate, I used to just have her go and hunt for sub owner numbers for me, and I would just get a list of for sub owners, and I would call all of them. And I would just set up appointments. Some of them wanted to buy as well. So that would be two deals. And then, they would have potentially people in their network that, eventually did business with me as well. So, just calling these for sub by owners, what it did was it created um, just a ton of spin-off business, and it catapulted my career. 1 month I got 13 for sale by owner listings signed in 1 month, using what I'm going to show you today. So, it's not like I'd like to say that I came up with it all on my own, but I didn't. What I did was I found in my opinion were the best for sale by owner callers on YouTube that I knew, and I took like little bits and pieces of their script and how they approached things, and I created my own using what I thought was the best tidbits from every single person. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is tonality. Very, very important. I want you to write this down. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Okay. So if I call somebody and I say, "Hey, this is Steve Alexopoulos from Metro City Property Group. How you doing today?" Or I say, "Hey, Steve Alexopoulos from Metro City Property Group. How you doing today?" Which one do you think is going to have a better response? It's and the way you say things is your tonality needs to change, right? And and just so you understand what I'm talking about, um, the first line of of my script is, "Hey, Steve Alexopoulos here, Metro City Property Group. How you doing today?" The reason for the call Notice how I dropped my tone after going high, I went low. That creates suspense. It keeps people on the phone. It makes people more interested in what you're going to say. When you drop your tone, it's like you're about to tell them a secret, right? So the tonality, and you know, if you guys really want to get good with tonality, I would go on the Jordan Belfort um, straight line persuasion system. There is one that is just on tonality. It's like a full hour on tonality training. So I would definitely learn how to use tonality to your advantage. If you don't even know what tonality, if this is the first time you've heard of tonality, like you gotta start learning sales skills like from scratch, because tonality is like is huge when it comes to sales. You could probably find books just on tonality. Like that's how important it is. The way you say things to people, not what you say to them, the way you say it. Two totally different things, but they work in unison, right? Now, tonality is important, and I'm going to show you, how we do how we kind of get into the tonality. I also want to show you, you need to, before you make the call, and if you're writing notes down, these are the three things you definitely want to write down. Before you even make the call, there's three things you need to know. Well, you obviously need to know the address, right? You need to know, is it a detached, two-story, three beds, two baths? You need to know something about the property. Why? Because there's three things you need to tell them in order to sound sharp and sound like a professional. And it creates the basis of the entire call. One is average sales price. Okay. Two is average active sales price. Second is average sold price. So active prices, the listings that are up, what's the average for that type of property? Let's call it a row unit, two-story, three-bed, three-bath in Barrhaven. Okay. You need to know the average active price, average sold price, and the most important one is the average days on market. Now, why is that so important? Well, you're going to tell them this information, right? So, hey, Mr. Seller, the average days on market for this specific kind of property that has three beds, it's semi-detached, two-story with three bathrooms in Barrhaven, has an average days on market 21 days. It looks like you've been on the market for about 37 days now. It looks like you're in the right ballpark in terms of your price. Maybe you're missing the mark in terms of exposure. So I'm just curious, have you looked at maybe changing your strategy based on that fact? So like, if they know in their head now, and I'm gonna get into the script from beginning to end, but if they know now that the average days on market for that kind of home, and they're in the right average, and why is this the average sales price important? Because let's say they're listed for like 500,000, the average sales price is 500,000, but the average days on market is 14 days, and they've been on the market for 30 days. You don't think now they're thinking, okay, well, there's a problem here. And guess what? There is a problem here, right? And the problem is you're not listed with me, right? You're not going to tell them that, but that's what they're thinking. While you're telling them these statistics, and I'm going to show you now how you find these statistics. It's freaking simple. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen here. Share. Try that again. Okay, I'm gonna try sharing my screen again. Now it works. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say I go search residential active sold in the last 180 days. Sure. Let's go row townhouse. Let's go 3 beds, 3 baths. Okay. And let's go Ottawa. So that's where I live. And let's go Fairhaven, since I just said that. Fairhaven. Oops. Okay. Community, let's go Stonebridge or in Strandherd. Let's go Strandherd. Okay. So active, sold, average that. Ottawa, Fairhaven. Okay. Okay, so we went Strandherd, 3 beds, 3 baths. Let's go attached row. 20 matches. Thumbs up. There's only one active there, but that's fine. Click them all. Okay. Quick CMA. So if we go down here, we have average sold price, average active price 679, average sold price 620. Okay. Sorry, average sales price 609. So average list price, average sold price. Okay, sell to list price ratio 98.23. Average days on market 35 days. Okay. So now, what I typically do though is let's say there's one, like for example, see this one on Garrity. This is good to know. This one on Garrity was listed for 233, which means that it really messes up the average days on market. So what I typically do is instead of using the average, I use the median days on market, which is 19. Now, the median versus the median gets rid of what we call outliers, right? Because it finds the middle number instead of adding them all and dividing them by the number that there is. Why that's good, it gets rid of the outliers. It gives you a better idea of what really the average is, the median. I like using the median one. Okay. So 19. So I'm going to write these things down now. Average list price, 620. Average sales price, or sorry, average active price. Let's just go with average list price, average sale price, 609. Average days on market, let's call it average meeting days on market, 19. Okay, so now we have the three pieces of information. We're going to call the property 123 Main Street. Okay. Now, there's going to be a portion of the script where I'm not going to tell you because that portion is my personal, what I call pitch. Okay. It's what I personally offer to clients. So everyone's going to, like, for example, you go in that proportion is going to be what you talk about in your listing presentation. So let's say you work with relocation clients. Let's say you have guarantees. Let's say you have whatever that is. That's your pitch part. I'm going to tell you when the pitch part comes up in the script. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Okay. So I have the address. It is what I looked for was row unit, 3 beds, 3 baths in Barhaven, Strandherd. Now I'm equipped now. I have the address. I have how many beds, how many baths, whether it's a row unit, detached, whatever. Okay. And I have the district number and code and the name for them, the name. I have the average list price, average sold price, and the average days on market. Now I'm ready to do the call. Going back to tonality. Okay, so here's how it starts. Hey, Steve Alexopoulos here, Metro City Property Group at EXP. How you doing today? Good. Hey, I saw your property a little while ago on Grapevine. At the time, I had a buyer who was actually looking for a row unit in your district with 3 beds and 3 baths. And I was going to show it to him, but he ended up moving it to something a little smaller instead. My team sells a lot of properties around the area, and we actually just sold one around the corner. I'm just curious, are you guys still trying to sell? Okay, so let me go back here. And I hope you guys caught on to that. Is what I'm doing here. And there's a little bit of a bait and switch here. I'm just going to be honest with you. Okay. Now, I typically look at all the properties that are for sale by owner. When I was doing this full time for sale by owners, I was constantly trying to bring buyers to for sale by owner homes. Okay. And then I just came up with the script that, hey, we had a buyer that was looking in your area, but he ended up buying something a little smaller instead. Now, what that does is it shows them that you have buyers, okay, and they're looking in their area, okay? Now, if you're comfortable saying that, I was comfortable saying it because I was actually bringing buyers to houses, right? But you just got to go with it, okay? Just let them know you have buyers in the area, right? And then you had a buyer, but he ended up moving into something a little smaller instead. And I saw your property, okay? And I was just curious, are you still trying to sell? So let me say that one more time, okay? I'm going to use the right tonality. Hey, this is Steve Alexopoulos at Metro City Property Group at EXP. How you doing today? Great. Hey, I saw your property a while ago on Grapevine. At the time, I had a buyer who was looking for a 3-bed with 3 baths in your district. I was going to show it to him, but he ended up moving into something a little smaller instead. My team and I sold a property a little around the corner. I was just wondering, you guys still trying to sell? Okay, so you are. When did it exactly go up for sale? When did it go up for sale? Oh, it went up 2 months ago. Okay, you're looking for specific closing date. Yeah, we're looking for, anytime in the next 2, 3 months. Okay, great. Have you purchased? Are you looking to purchase in the near future? You're looking to relocate? Yeah, we already purchased the house, so we got to close in about, 3 months, call it. Okay, so you said it's been up for a few months now. Have you got any good action so far? Have you got any offers? Yeah, we've had a lot of showings. We haven't had any offers yet so far. Okay, great. Well, hey, we do quite a bit of business in the area, and in the last 6 months, okay, this is where I do the mock CMA. A row unit with 3 beds, 3 baths in your district in Barrhaven has an average list price of $620,000, an average sold price of $609,000, and it's got an average days on market of 19 days. You know, so looks like you're priced in the right ballpark. I mean, the average sold price for this district um, is 607, or sorry, is 609, and you're listed right now at 610. So it looks like you're in the right ballpark in terms of the price. Now you also have been on the market now for 2 months. The average days on market right now is about 19 days for that kind of property. So maybe you're missing the mark in terms of exposure. So just exposing the property to the right group of buyers. Okay, that's part one. Who wants to try a role play with me? Anyone? This is your time.
I can do one, Steve.
Give me 1 second. And I'm going to try and do it just the way the script shows. And I'm not going to give you the script. So if you want to take notes, now's your time. Okay. All right. So sometimes it'll have their name, sometimes it won't. Hey, Aveen, Steve Alexopoulos here at Metro City Property Group with EXP. How you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, I saw your property a little while ago on Grapevine. At the time, we had a buyer who's looking for a 2-story home, row unit with 3 beds and 3 baths. It was right in your district, and I was going to show it to him. He ended up moving into something a little smaller instead, and my team and I sold a property not too far from yours. And I'm just wondering, you guys still trying to sell?
Yeah, we're still trying to sell.
Okay, and exactly when did you put it up for sale?
It's been a couple weeks now.
Oh, it's just been a couple of weeks. Okay. Are you looking for a specific closing date?
No, not really. As long as we get 800,000, we're good. We're not in a
Okay,
rush.
so you want 1,000. Okay, so you're not in a rush. Have you purchased? Are you looking to purchase in the near future? You're looking to relocate, or is it just you just want trying to get rid of this one?
We're just trying to sell and then rent after.
Okay, so you're just trying to sell and rent. Just for you guys that are listening right now, notice how I'm repeating everything she's saying. Gives me the opportunity to buy time. It's also showing them that I'm listening. Okay, so it's been up, you said, for 2 to 3 weeks. Have you had any good action so far? Have you had any offers?
No, we've had a few people come see the place, but no offers.
Okay. So Aveen, just let's pretend that it's been up for 2 months because I wouldn't call somebody that's only been on the market for 1 or 2 weeks. Okay.
Okay,
So on your end, let's pretend that it's been 2 months. Okay.
okay, perfect.
I usually wait at least 3 weeks before I call somebody that they've been on the market. So, anyways, yeah. So it looks like we do quite a bit of business in the area, and in the last 6 months, a row unit in your district with 3 beds and 3 baths in Strandherd right now has an average list price of 600. So you said 800,000. Let's say 820,000 and an average sold price of 800,000. So it looks like you're in the right ballpark in terms of your price. Maybe you're missing the mark in terms of exposure. So one of the things actually that I figured out was that it has an average days on market, this specific kind of property, of just 21 days. And you mentioned to me that you guys have been on the market for about a month and a half now to 2 months. Remember, I'm being hypothetical here. Um, like I said, it looks like you're in the right ballpark in terms of your price. You might just be missing the mark in terms of exposure. So I'm gonna talk about small pitch. So this is where your pitch comes in. What sets you apart versus a for sale by owner? Okay. Well, I'll just be honest with you. Here at Metro City, we deal with relocation. We have relocation contacts all over the country. What's great about them, they don't have a lot of time. They come down for 3, 4, 5 days, and they're pretty much sold in the property before they even walk through the front door. Most agents aren't on the marks of reaching these kind of people. So I'm curious, Aveen, what methods are you currently using to market your home?
We're just on Kijiji.
Oh, okay. So you're just on Kijiji. Are you hosting any open houses or anything?
No, no open houses, only one-on-one showings.
Okay. And is there any reason that you decided to list on your own rather than with an agent?
Because I don't want to pay the commission.
Okay. So what you're saying is you want to net the most amount of money possible, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so listen, in the last 12 months, we've actually managed to sell over 30 homes that were originally in the same position as you, trying to sell on their own. We listed the houses at the exact same price. In some of the cases, we actually listed them slightly higher, and we've had those properties sell on average in less than a month. So on top of that, based on the demand we're creating from all our guaranteed programs, we're netting 2 to 3% more money for our sellers. These sellers ended up netting more money because the house sold at a higher price versus, what they were trying to do on their own. They were all in the same situation as you, and they came up to me afterwards and they say, "Hey, Steve, I wish I would have done this sooner." But before anything, what I want to do is find the time of the day to see your home. In that, in case another buyer comes around, which, it's very likely it could happen because we do work with buyers in that area. What I'd like to show you also while I'm there is how my team does business. And I think you'll be super impressed. Worst case scenario, you say, "Hey, Steve, it's not a good fit for me." But at least at that point, we'll have seen it properly and be able to match it with one of our active buyers. So do afternoons or evenings usually work better for you?
Afternoons work better. Steve,
Okay, well, I could come by. Go ahead.
do you get the objection where they're like, "Oh, I'm willing to pay buyer's agents, but no listing agents"?
Yeah, and I say, "Hey, you know what? I totally understand. It's a great idea that, you'd be able to offer buyer agents some commission. But I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, what really matters is how much you net in your pocket. So what I want to do is kind of show you a net sheet on how we can make it more beneficial to you with regard to netting more money in your pocket based
Mhm.
on the amount of demand that we create. I just want to show you how we do that. If the numbers don't end up working for you, that's fine, because at least at that point, we'll have seen the property and be able to match it with one of our buyers. So with that being said, do afternoons or evenings usually work better for you?
Afternoons are perfect.
Okay, great. Well, I could come by tomorrow or Friday, or sorry, Saturday at 2. You think tomorrow or Saturday would be better for you?
Yeah, tomorrow's perfect.
Okay, great. I'll see you at 2. Um, Before I come and see you, what I'll do is I'll send you one of our packages just to kind of outline exactly what we do for our sellers. And also quickly, is there anyone else on title or is it just you?
Yeah, it's my husband. He'll be here too.
Okay, he'll be there too. Okay, perfect. What's your husband's name?
Oh, I have.
Let's just say it's John. Okay, so perfect. So yeah, so I'm excited to see you, Avian, and John tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and I'll be sending you that package through courier today. So take a look at that before I see you, and I'll call you right before the appointment just to confirm. Sound fair enough?
That's perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Did anyone have any questions on that? So you're gonna like, I could spend like hours doing this. You're gonna get a ton of objections. Okay. Now, what are some of the objections you could get? Well, let's see. The first ones that I can think of are, let's think, what are some of the objections? I need to talk to my wife to make sure it's okay, and I'll get back to you. Okay. Hey, totally understand. You know what I'll do is I'll put you in for tomorrow at 5 to make sure I have that time reserved. It's a very busy season for us, and I want to make sure that I time block you in. If anything changes and your wife can't make it, you can call me. We can reschedule. Sound fair enough? What is your commission? Ooh, who thinks? I want you to put your hands up if you're listening. Who thinks that you should disclose your commission on the phone? You shouldn't disclose your commission on the phone. So what do you say? Hey, great question. I can get into more detail about that when I see you. What I will tell you is this: the province of Ontario commission is negotiable, and we can negotiate something that works out for the both of us. So come by tomorrow at 5. I look forward to meeting with you. Okay. You don't disclose it. If they keep pushing, just say, hey, you know what? Honestly, it really depends on the property, and I've got to see it first. Oftentimes, sometimes, we offer a better commissioner for sell by owner properties. So looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And that's one of the things that we can definitely discuss. But I can't tell you without seeing the property. Okay. Don't disclose it. Second, you disclose it, you become a number. You don't want to be a number. You want to be a sales professional. Sales professionals keep control. They keep control during the phone call from A to Z. And then when they get to the property, build up a good rapport. As soon as the presentation starts, you keep control in that entire presentation until you reach the close. I've done this training before. There's 3 gears of selling. Gear 1, the warm up. Gear 2, the presentation. Gear 3, the close. Right? You need to have control over every aspect of the gears of selling. Okay. Real estate is a sales business, and that's what most people have forgotten. It's not, it's a people's business, but really it's more of a marketing business, and it's more of a sales business. It's a sales and marketing business, right? You might think it's a people business. It's not. When it comes to the selling, it's a sales and marketing business. Now, you have to be good with people, of course. But if you're good with people and you're only good with people, but your sales and marketing skills are not good, you're not going to do well. You need to learn how to present well. You have to learn how to call properly. You need to have good tonality. You need to be able to close. You need to be able to handle objections. What are some other objections that there could be?
It's not exactly an objection, but I've noticed a lot of the for sale by owners we find listed with Comfree on MLS. It's almost as if those sellers have been given a script to tell any agents who call. So before you can even
Mm.
say anything, they're like, oh, hey, well, Comfree has prepared us with all the tools we would need if we need to reach out, blah, blah, blah. Like, how do you go about that? When they're basically like, oh, I have this agency that's prepared me with all these tools. And you're trying to explain to them, well, on
They
your
have
list.
their own script. They, you don't listen. There's certain people and certain maybe brokerages that you just shouldn't deal with. You just got to find other ones. If they're already like with an agent or like, sorry, what was their, say that again, I mean, what was their objection?
They're just saying that, oh, I'm already contracted with Comfree or whatever brokerage, and they have all the tools and resources I need if I have questions about blah blah blah. But the thing is, these are mere listings. They're not even represented. They're just posted.
Yeah. Well, okay, well, let me try it. So like, but like, are they, you have to give me like a real objection. Like, so I call, hey, Steve Alexopoulos here, Metro City Property Group. How you doing today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. Hey, the reason for my call is, um, so the reason for my call is I had a buyer who saw your property a while ago on Free. Okay. And at the time we had a buyer, he was looking for a three-story, a two-story detached home in your district, and I was going to show it to him. But he ended up moving into something a little smaller instead. My team and I sold the property around the corner. I'm just wondering, are you guys still trying to sell?
Yeah, we're still trying to sell, and if you or your team want to bring a buyer, that's great. We're willing to pay buyer's agents.
Okay. Hey, that's great. When did you make that? Has that been since the beginning that you decided to pay out a buyer's agent?
Yes,
Okay, great. Hey, good job. And when exactly did you put it up for sale?
about 2 months ago.
Okay, so you put it up 2 months ago, and are you looking to close at a specific time?
Yes, we need to close before fall of next year.
You need to close before fall of next year. Okay, great. And is that because you've purchased a home or you looking to relocate somewhere?
Yeah, we're just moving to Toronto instead.
Oh, you're moving to Toronto. What brings you to Toronto?
I have a new job there, and it starts in fall of next year.
Okay, great. Well, I see here that you've been listed for 2 months. Have you gotten any good action so far or any offers?
Nope, just a lot of calls from agents, but none of them have actual buyers.
Okay, so you've gotten calls from agents, but not have actual buyers. Yeah, well, listen, we do quite a bit of business in that area. And in the last 6 months, the average active price for this exact kind of property, a row unit with 3 beds, 3 baths in your district in Strandherd has an average active price of 620,000 and an average sold price of 609,000. Even more importantly, average days on market of 19 days. So it looks like you're in the right ballpark in terms of your price. I think maybe you're missing the mark in terms of exposure. So just exposing the property to the right group of buyers. Okay. One of the things that we specialize in is relocation. We have contacts all over the country in the US. They see our marketing materials. It's great as they don't have a lot of time to come down for a few days at a time. And, sometimes they make their decision very quickly. So what methods are you using to market your home?
So we're on Kijiji, we're on MLS as a mere posting,
Mhm.
and we're on all the
Okay.
social media platforms.
Okay. And obviously, you mentioned you're with Free and you decided to sell on your own rather than list with an agent. Is there any specific reason? You can try and make it hard for me too again.
Yeah, I just don't think it makes sense to pay listing agents when I can do everything
Yeah.
myself.
Hey, I totally hear you. And what I hear you saying is really at the end of the day, you want to kind of keep more money in your pocket. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what if I told you, even, commission aside, if I was able to net you more money in your pocket, okay, is that not something that would make kind of more sense to you? Commission aside.
Yeah, that does make more sense. If that can be
And let
guaranteed,
me
it
just,
makes more sense.
let me just explain to you, okay? So price is a function of supply and demand. So the more demand we can create on properties, the higher of a price that we're going to get it sold. Just last year, my team and I did over 500 deals. And in the last 12 months, we've actually managed to sell over 30 homes that were originally for sale by the owner, just like yours. Based on the demand that we created, we're able to net 2 to 3% more money. So, I know you talk about kind of the commission side, and one of the things that we do is based on the fact that we're guaranteeing and netting 2 to 3% more money. We're also offering, making it a little bit easier for this for sale by owners with regard to the commission side as well. But I'll tell you this: all the sellers that we ended up working with, they ended up netting more money because at the end of the day, the home sold at a higher price based on that kind of demand that we brought. Every single one of them were in the same situation as you, and they all told me afterwards, "Hey, Steve, I wish I would have done this sooner." But before anything, listen, what I'd like to do, just want to find the time of the day to see your property. Um, since we work with a lot of buyers around the area, at that point, if we match it with one of the buyers, we can tell them about it and bring them by. But while I'm there, just want to show you how my team does business. I know you're going to be super impressed. Worst case scenario, hey, you're not impressed and you say, it's not a good fit for me. At least at that point, I'll have seen the property and be able to match it with one of our active buyers. So I can come around, I'll be in the area Thursday or Friday. Do you think afternoons or evenings usually better for you?
Yep, that's
And
perfect.
you
You
can
can
hit me
come.
with whatever you want.
That actually went very smoothly.
Yeah. Like, so let me explain something to you. And it really comes down to mindset, right? Like when I call for sub by owners, it's gonna sound bad, but I don't care about their objection. I don't care what they say to me, right? I know they're gonna say something, but my goal isn't to figure something out if they say something. Like I'm not being reactive. I'm just trying to get to the end of the script. So all I really need to do to get to the end of the script is acknowledge what they say and get back on script. So for example, when you said, hey, we're with Comp Free and they have something that they'll be able to do once we're done, I acknowledge that. Okay, great. Hey, you know what? That's amazing that Comp Free has that for you. And it's actually even better that you're deciding to, list and give a buyer commission out. That's a great job. I'm happy that you did that. But quickly, are you still looking to sell? Are you looking for a specific closing date? So like I acknowledged what they said. I'm like, awesome. I'm getting back on script now. Okay. Like I care, but I don't care enough to talk about it for 5 minutes. I need to get back on my script. So really what you're doing is you're acknowledging, you're answering, and then you're taking action, the 3 A's of selling, of objection handling. Really, that's their objection. And I mean, I could make a whole other 2 hour video about this, but the 3 A's of selling are answer, acknowledge. Hey, totally understand. Comfrey's offering this new buyer incentive where they're offering commission to agents. Answer, I think that's great. And I think that's, it's a really good step that you're doing. Quickly though, just want to know and get back to action, right? And the action is, just want to get right back on script. How long have you been on the market for? Have you had any offers yet? Right. So you just got to answer it and just get back on script. But don't be scared about what they're going to say. It doesn't matter what they say because you're going to acknowledge it and then you're just going to get back on script. But you have to have a little bit of like, you got to be a little tough. And it's not always going to work. Like if you think it's always going to work, then you're out to lunch because you're going to hear no's. You're going to hear a lot of call me in 2 weeks. You're going to hear a lot of um, you might even hear don't call me again, and that's fine. But I'll tell you this: if you sound sharp and you sound like a professional, it's very unlikely that they're going to just kick you off the phone, right? You if you sound like a professional, you sound sharp. Remember, these people are looking to get their houses sold. They're putting their hand up and they're saying, I can't sell my house. Please sell it for me. Right? These people are getting sick of their house sitting on the market for over a month. If they talk to somebody that sounds like a legit professional, because you are a legit professional, they're going to listen to you, right? And not only are they going to listen to you, they might want to see what you have to offer, because they might be in a tight spot and they're looking for a solution, and you are the solution. So you got to pick up the phone and start dialing, because for sell by owner route, it sucks. Trust me. I know what for sell by owners do for their clients, and it's not good. They don't do nothing, man. They just put it on MLS. They do nothing else. That's all they do. And they offer a crappy commission to other agents. You're gonna like, I literally made a living selling for sell by owner homes. And the reason I was so good on the phone is because I knew that them using me was a huge, huge benefit. Like, it was like an ethical obligation for me to try and get their listing, because I knew if I got their listing, I could sell their listing. And I knew what they were currently doing. It wasn't working. So it's like, I'm being a bit pushy, but I'm only being pushy because I'm so convinced that this is the right move for you. So don't confuse my confidence with pressure. I know this is the right move for you. And that's why you might think I'm being a little pushy, but I know it's such a good decision for you, because every single other person in your position that ended up listing their house with me, you know, they ended up having a great experience, and they told me afterwards, I wish I would have done it sooner. So that's why, I'm really trying to get you to do this with me. So don't think it's pressure. It's really just, I'm trying to make your life easier for you. Okay. So that's the mindset when you go into the call, right? Don't be scared. It's a tough call. If you get good at for sale by owner calls, you can call anybody, right? So, if anyone has any questions, let me know. But yeah, I'm and I mean, I'm giving you guys information here that like took me like years to like develop it properly. So giving you this for free. Um, anyways,
Thank you so much,
that's it,
Steve.
guys.
This was great. Thank you.